All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
Hi, I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker of Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Welcome to the Real Estate Roundtable on 94.3 FM, The Talker. I am here with my co-host and husband, fellow realtor, Pat Devaney.
Good morning, Jackie. How are you today?
I knew that question was coming. I'm doing great. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
We have with us Susan Ceriti, president of Northeast Advisory Group. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me
Thank you for being here. We're so excited to have a conversation with you on a topic we've never explored on the Real Estate Roundtable. We are here every Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m., where we talk real estate. We have a full-time real estate office with many exceptional realtors who've been listing, selling, and appraising real estate for 50-plus years.
During the week, feel free to email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com, or you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you go to jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab. We have a camera pointed right at the more corners, and you can see what the weather conditions are no matter what time of the year, right?
View our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobile-friendly jruddy.com, jruddy.com, where you can also find all the popular podcast apps that we feature our radio show on. And don't forget to check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest. Okay, Susan Ceriti, president of Northeast Advisory Group. What is Northeast Advisory Group? What do you do, and where do you do it, please?
Yes, so Northeast Advisory Group is located on Lackawanna Avenue, 428 Lackawanna Avenue, and we do an array of financial planning. We take a holistic approach to that, and we provide solutions to a lot of concerns that our clients have, whether it be insurance programs or investment solutions.
You started your adult professional life out in regular insurance, correct?
Yes, property and casualty.
Property and casualty. And then you grew from there.
Yes.
Okay, so you have a diverse background, right? So the reason you're here today is we had a situation a year or so ago where a family member was involved in a accident, and so we didn't know what the future held. Older person, and we didn't know if she was going to be able to walk again, and so she was living at that time in a 2-story home. Faced with a lot of questions and uncertainty at the time, I don't know about anybody else in my family, but I certainly got in touch with my own mortality and my future.
Sure.
And if I was ever to be in a similar situation, what would I do? And I didn't know at the time, completely ignorant to the fact, there's actual policies that set up people for their later years, whether it be an assisted living, a nursing home, or if I want to stay in my own home, that I can have a policy that would pay for care to come into my home. And
Right.
so most people, when they're in the later golden years, don't want, I see this every day in real estate, they never want to leave their home, even when they're physically not able to be in their own home.
Yes.
So you have a solution.
Yes. So, the long-term care programs used to be set up in a way where it paid for long-term care should you need it. But if you didn't need it, that money kind of went down into a black hole and you never saw it again. Today, they're built on universal life insurance chassis. So if it's not utilized, you get that premium back in the form of a death benefit. If you do utilize the long-term care aspect of it as a rider on the policy, that benefit is incredibly great. And like you said, it doesn't kick in if you go into a facility. You can, control the care you have, and it does pay for care in the home. And that's really the most comfortable setting in the home. So, you don't have to go into a long-term care facility for these to kick in.
But you could.
You could,
if
yes.
if you wanted to,
It goes-
or if you
yes.
should decide.
Exactly. So it starts typically in the home, and the benefit rider would kick in, as long as you cannot perform 2 of the 5 ADLs, the bathing, eating, dressing, toileting, transferring. So, you have a letter from your doctor that says you can't perform these functions, and that's what opens the policy to start the payments to you. You could use them in any way you like. So if it starts in the home, which it typically does, you can outfit your home with railings. You could outfit a bathroom to better suit your needs at that time. And it will pay all the way out until, if you need that really skilled nursing, is the benefit is open for you to use it as you need.
So people that have investments sometimes think that they're set up, right? So for this situation, whereas, you just had a family member that was in this situation.
Yes.
She had investments.
She was in for years and years and years. She was in assisted living.
Right.
But they were lucky enough that
They had the means.
They had the means to pay for it.
Yes.
Because assisted living,
It was $6,000 a month down there.
okay, that was in New York.
Yeah, it's
That was-
costly.
yeah, and that adds over 10 years, boy.
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
It is.
But what we're trying to do here is to protect my assets, right? To protect
Yes.
my wealth.
Yes.
Now, lots of ways. There's people that talk about, and I hear people do things that really aren't too smart. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put my house in my son's name. And I'm thinking, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Well, he's my son and he's going to take care of me. There's so much that can go wrong if somebody does that. Now, say we put it in Patrick's name, my son's name, right? And in 10 years, he gets married. Mm-hmm. Now, my house that I live in is in his name. And 3 years later, they decide to get divorced. Now, what happens? Am I going to get thrown out of my house because she's going to get half of the house? So there's so many ways people think, oh, yeah, I know what I'm going to do. Uncle Sal told me I should put the house in somebody's name. And this sounds like a much more thought out, well-planned strategy.
And for most people it is. And, the way you just previously discussed as a strategy, it is done oftentimes like that. It's best to speak with an estate attorney because there are a lot of rules and regulations behind that. But as far as protecting your own assets, and typically, you're protecting your legacy, your beneficiaries. You worked so hard to prepare for retirement and you want to leave something for your children. Typically, when you go into long-term care, those are the funds that are going to pay for your long-term care. Your, the equity in your home, your remaining savings. So to put in a policy, a program, a long-term care program that will be so much greater than the value of those assets should you need it, really protects your beneficiaries. And a lot of times the way we look at it is, hey, you're protecting the beneficiary. You have that pool of money that is going to be legacy funds that's going to pass on. You utilize those funds to pay for the long-term care program. And because there's a death benefit, should you not need it, that death benefit goes back to the beneficiary and it's greater than the premium. So there's really no loss when you look at it the new way they're set up on the life insurance chassis.
Right. Well, I often joke, I don't know if it's a joke, but I often say we're so overinsured, right? So, when we just have an insurance policy for everything, and my dad was in insurance.
Oh, okay.
So, right. So it's in my blood. So, okay, get insurance, right? So, but, you're right, because I pay on these insurance policies and hopefully never, ever have to use them for any reason, right? But where does the money go? I don't get it back. Mm-hmm. But this situation is completely different.
Yeah, and you hit on a good point there. You insure so many things in your life, but people never think about insuring one of their biggest assets, and that's all of the savings and planning they had throughout their whole lives to prepare them for retirement. And the big elephant in the room, if you will, is, something that can take that away, and that would be long-term care. So to protect against that and ensure that, it just makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. So I didn't realize this existed, and so I have a funny story. So last year when the topic came up, and even though my dad was insurance, this was not something that my parents had. So this person turned to me and said, "You're too old. You can't get it now." I passed. So I was told I wouldn't be eligible to receive it, but that's not true, right?
No, typically there is a prime age range, and it's typically 50 to 65.
I'm in it. I'm in the prime age.
Okay. Yeah.
When's the last
Yeah, I'm in the prime
time?
age. I'm in.
When have you last used that word prime regarding
it's
your age?
been a long time.
Okay, so you
Ronald
use it
Reagan
in-
was president. I think it's been a long time.
All right. Okay. So
I'm sorry.
You
Go
just
ahead,
made
Susan.
his day. Susan.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you, Susan.
You're prime age.
Okay.
So yeah, you're not too young where things are going to change drastically, and you're young enough where health issues aren't going to prevent you from getting a good rate. They are underwritten, very similar to like a life insurance policy. And it just fits into that time in your life when you're doing all of that planning for the future.
Yeah, well, when I was in my 20s, not thinking about this. 30s, not thinking about this. Even my 40s, I wasn't thinking about this. So, yeah, right? So, what age is too young?
I would say in your 40s is a little too young. At 50 to 65 is really prime. If you really are eager and you want to do it slightly before that, it's not a good idea it's not a bad idea to look into that. But I think really anytime after 50.
So 50 to 65.
Exactly.
All right. So, because we advised somebody 42 yesterday, but she has some time.
Yeah, she's got time to think about it.
Yeah.
Another time we had discussed, you were saying that primarily this is women do this, and the example you had given was great because my mother went into assisted living for 2 years. My aunt was there, and when I would go in there and they'd be in the dining room sitting down, I'd say to myself, "Where's all the men?"
It's true.
They're gone.
Yeah, women live longer. If you look in any nursing home facility, the majority of people there are going to be women. So if you really only wanted to plan for one life going into long-term care, I said to you earlier, your crystal ball is as foggy as mine, but it's, probability says that it's going to be the woman, the wife, that needs the long-term care.
Yeah. Well, last night I had a dream, and it's probably because of this show, but boy, did it freak me out. I was told that I was going to die at a young age of a very rare blood disease. So, here I am thinking, oh my God. But it fits this, you know, so I knew this was going to be discussed the next day.
Yes.
So that was
mortality.
Yeah.
Is on the brain.
Did I bring you down, Pat?
No.
It's a difficult conversation, but with all of these things, life insurance, long-term care protection, once it's in place, you have peace of mind. You've planned for it. The worry is gone. So it is a difficult conversation to have, but there are real solutions out there.
Who
today.
wants to think about this? I don't want to think about it, but I do want to. I want to protect Patrick, right?
Yes.
Our son.
Yes.
So, and I certainly don't. And when he has his life and married and children or whatever his future holds for him, I certainly don't want him to worry about my care.
Right.
Right.
And Jackie, there's two main reasons people would purchase this. What we touched on, the asset protection, but it also gives people greater control of their care. So they can choose the setting, they can choose how they want to spend it. The program that they're not all created equal. Nationwide has a program, the Care Matters program, that after a lot of vetting different programs in our office, that's the one that really stands out above the rest. And they do have a lot of those unique features that allow you to take control of that. You're not at the mercy of, facilities and nurses. They even allow you to pay for family members or neighbors once you activate that care policy.
Right. So, all right, I get to choose.
Exactly.
Where I want to go.
Yeah.
Right, because if you were older and you needed nursing home care, right? Now, Medicare only pays for so much, right?
Yeah, about 100 days. And
Pays for 100 days?
Yep. And then
Now we run through that. Now, what do they go to next? My assets?
Exactly.
They go through my assets. After they run through everything in the bank, what do they go after then?
Your home.
They go after the home. Now I have nothing to leave anybody. I've worked all my life and I've worked so hard.
Yeah.
And the state gets everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big concern.
With us today, Susan Ceriti, president of Northeast Advisory Group. How does someone get in touch with you, please?
Sure. My phone number, 570-343-0800, or email me at Susan, SUSAN, at neadvisorygroup.com.
Thank you. Pat?
We have a beautiful 4-bedroom, 2-bath home at 121 Wyoming Street in Carbondale for $225,000. This home has new flooring and it has hardwood floors along with new sheetrock and paint on the first floor. It has beautifully remodeled bath and hardwood floors throughout the second floor. This home also has a walk-up attic that can be finished for additional living space. The chimney was recently repointed, and it also has a detached garage with space for plenty of off-street parking. It also has low taxes of $2,300 a year. That's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, updated home with a detached garage at 121 Wyoming Street in Carbondale for $225,000, and that's listed by James Caceres of our office.
Oh, thank you, Pat. The Pennsylvania State Police want to warn the public of imposters posing as utility workers trying to gain access to homes. Troopers say this is a tactic used by scammers to distract you while someone else enters the home. Police say that any individual who is not scheduled to be at your home or work for repair should be questioned prior to entering your home. Call the company they say they're with to verify they are legitimate before allowing them to enter. Speak with them through a door or window before you open up your home while you verify their identity. If at any point you feel threatened, of course, call 911. And they're urging you to trust your instinct. If it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. So don't be quick to let anybody into your home. And that's been happening for years, but I guess it's resurging. It's unfortunate, right?
Yep.
And I'd like to say hello to Robert Bond, who listens every week to our show. Hi, Robert. Thanks for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. We'll be back in just a short bit with more Real Estate Roundtable on 94.3 FM The Talker. When considering to sell or buy a home, why choose Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate? Let me tell you why. 70% of home buyers settle for the first agent they meet, and many regret it. 90% of home sellers hire an agent, but was it the right choice? Don't have agent remorse. I'm Jackie Ruddy, and I've been in and around the real estate business for most of my life. And at Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate, we've been selling real estate for half a century. But we do not do it halfway. You deserve better than average. Average doesn't help you. We know it's all about you and what you need. Century 21 is the #1 in brand awareness, is the most recognized name in real estate, and is the most respected in the industry. In this market, if you dream big, you need to move fast. So it makes perfect sense to contact Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate, 570-344-6724, and visit jruddy.com. That's JRUDDY.com. We're back with more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor.
We're back with a wonderful topic.
Excellent topic. Susan Ceriti, president of Northeast Advisory Group. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're enjoying our conversation with you. Before we dive back into it, I'd just like to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Lori Ligorio of Caring Transitions. You have a specialty, and so does Caring Transitions. Their experts help families in times of transition and relocation. Their services help eliminate the clutter so you can do what you do best, sell the home. Whether it's organizing and packing homes full of possessions, managing clutter, cleanouts, donations, and liquidating saleable items, let Caring Transitions help remove the barriers and assist in getting the house sold. Call Lori Ligorio of Caring Transitions for a free consultation, 570-280-2516, or visit caringtransitionsscranton.com. Okay, Susan Ceriti, president of Northeast Advisory Group. Pat, I think you had a question for Susan.
Yes. You were saying that I could spread the payments out for, say, 10 years on this before. What if I'm 8 years into it and I haven't made all the payments and then I need assisted living or something happens? Is my policy in force? Is it not? What's the story?
Yeah, good question. So in that unfortunate event, the premiums would be waived. The policy would still remain in force as long as it's needed, as stated in the policy, and benefits would be paid to you. So there's an actual waiver of premium payments in the policy.
Okay. Now, you said there was a difference between different policies, that this one is what is it? It's not receipts?
Yep. So in the nationwide care matters, typically the old policies, the old programs for long-term care were paid on a reimbursement basis. And what that means is, you outfit your home for railings, they want the receipts, they pay you back, as such. So that creates an administrative burden for your children or your caretakers. So in order to eliminate that, what they do now is they have what's called an indemnity policy. And once you can no longer perform two of those previously stated ADLs, the acts of daily living, the policy is opened and you just no receipts. You just state what amount is needed. You can take the full benefit amount monthly. If you don't utilize it, it stays in that larger bucket throughout, and there's no time limit. It's just a large pool of money that you're able to access based on your premium that you pay into it. So,
and what are the ADLs again? And what does that stand for again?
So the acts of daily living.
Acts of daily living.
There's 5 of them. Bathing, eating, dressing, toileting, transferring. And transferring is just, being able to change positions and walk.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
if you can't,
two of the five,
and a doctor says
that's the trigger.
He writes a letter and says you can't do this, then the policy
you now have access to that pool of funds set up for the long-term care.
And not only do you have a choice of where you want to live, in a facility or at home, you have that choice.
Yes.
You have the choice of who your caregiver is, who you pay.
Huge.
So it could be a child, it could be the child's spouse, it could be, like you said, your neighbor.
Absolutely.
Someone you trust.
You can have a full-time nurse or a staff of nurses. It really gives you that control. So you have the right to choose your caregiver. And that's the other benefit that we just discussed before. In addition to protecting your assets, it really gives you the control of your care.
And let's also talk about amounts.
Right. I was just going to ask that.
Oh, good.
That was the question.
Yeah.
That was my question.
Okay. What's your question?
No, go ahead. Your question.
Well, all right. The amounts. So what amounts are there? Does it start at a certain number, and what's too low? What's too high? What's the perfect number? And I'm sure every situation is different.
Yeah. So it depends. Obviously we, are going to have Social Security checks that will assist us, when you're fully into an assisted living facility and beforehand. But, typically we would look at a $50,000 premium just as a starting point. And that $50,000 premium, it could be paid upfront in full, or it could be spread out over your life. Or you can do a 5-pay, a 10-pay. If you choose a 10-pay, $5,000 a year, and so on. So you can really break it up to fit into your affordability. And then also, the higher the premium, the higher access to that pool of money. So what does that look like? So you pay $50,000. The death benefit, should you not use it, is going to be about $60,000 to $65,000. So you're getting your premium back if you don't use it with a little extra in there. Now, if you do access it, there's an inflation rider of 3% each year, so your benefit is going to increase. Your pool at typical age of long-term care, 80 to 85, say, is going to be about $450,000. So increasing 3% every year.
So mostly women reside in a facility, assisted living, nursing home, et cetera, or need in-home care, right?
True.
What is the average span of that time in those facilities or for in-home care?
Yep, great question. So typically 2.5 years is the average stay in a nursing home. Now, we all know people that spent 10 years and we all know people who spent less, but statistically 2.5 to 3 years.
Statistically, right.
Yes.
That's the average. So
My mom was 2 years in assisted living, and my Aunt Dee was about 10 years
Yeah.
in assisted living.
you said it was $6,000 a month. For some reason,
Yeah.
I thought it was $8,000 a month.
Well, that was my mother because she needed help with other things.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, nursing homes. How much is that a year
Yes.
or monthly?
So in the Scranton-Wilkes-Barre area, the cost is about $100,000 a year for full-on nursing care in a facility. If you're looking at full-time nurses in the home, it's half that. And again, with these programs, you get to choose what type of care you need. And usually it's a progressive, event. It starts in the home and, goes all the way to the skilled nursing. So, it could even go less than the $50,000 if you only need part-time. But
Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
Right? So you just
My
don't know.
crystal ball's not working.
And in the Philadelphia area, those costs are quite a bit higher in
Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
yeah, New York
Yeah.
City.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's pretty significant in the Scranton-Wilkes-Barre area.
Yes.
Wow. Susan Ceriti, president of Northeast Advisory Group. How does someone get in touch with you, please?
Sure. You can call me at 570-343-0800 or email me at susan@neadvisorygroup.com.
Thank you, Susan. Would you come back next week?
I absolutely will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pat.
Yes, we have a unique property. It's at 504 Chestnut Street in Dunmore for only $52,000. It's a small building. It's 570 square feet, and it was previously used as a hair salon and a photo studio. This would be a great investment opportunity in the heart of Dunmore, and it's perfect for the small business or a startup. And you could own this for less than you're paying for rent now. The property needs some TLC, but it has a roof that's only 6 years old, and the taxes are only $750 a year. This property has got a full basement for storage and a half bath on the first floor. That's a commercial property at 504 Chestnut Street in Dunmore for $52,000, and that's listed by James Caceres of our office.
Thank you, Pat. The city of Scranton is making more than $1 million in grants available to assist first-time homebuyers in Scranton and to help existing city homeowners improve their properties. Mayor Cognetti announced the grant programs in February at NeighborWorks, Northeast PA, and West Scranton. The grant money comes from the city's $68.7 million allocation through the American Rescue Plan Act. The city will use $350,000 to support the first-time homebuyer program and another $800,000 for home rehabilitation projects. Residents will be able to apply for the money through existing homebuyer aging in place and home weatherization programs already operated by NeighborWorks and the Agency for Community Empowerment of Northeast PA. Individual grants under both programs will be capped at $20,000. So check it out and call NeighborWorks of Northeast PA for more information. And I just want to tell our listeners out there, if they're thinking of selling, now is the time to list. Enter the pre-spring market. Get the home on the market, less competition. We have a buyer pool out there, people. Despite national news, shut the news off, please.
I did. I shut it off.
Please just shut it off, because you just feel like the end of the world is here, right? But there are buyers out there that are qualified, that are ready, willing, and able, and we just don't have the supply of homes and the choices out there that they need. So now is the time to list. Take my advice. Please call Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. We'll get you on the market and get you sold. Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM. The Talker will be back next Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Have a great week.